Did Senator Thom Tillis contract the coronavirus despite wearing a mask at the White House Rose Garden event announcing President Trump's Supreme Court nominee? No, that's not true. Tillis, a Republican from North Carolina, was seen wearing a mask during part of the White House Rose Garden event to officially announce Judge Amy Coney Barrett, President Trump's Supreme Court nominee, but he was also photographed inside the White House not wearing a mask while standing with Judge Barrett. The claim appeared in an article published by Breitbart.com on October 2, 2020, under the title, "Senator Thom Tillis contracted the coronavirus despite wearing a mask at SCOTUS Rose Garden event." It opened, quote, "Senator Thom Tillis, RNC, contracted the Chinese coronavirus following last week's Rose Garden event, in which President Trump announced his nomination of Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court, despite wearing a mask at the gathering. Thom Tillis wore a mask at the event in the Rose Garden. He has tested positive," journalist Heather Childers reported on Saturday. A photo also shows Tillis wearing a mask at the event. Despite that, he has since contracted the virus, end quote. This is what social media users saw at the time of writing, quote, "Senator Thom Tillis contracted the Chinese coronavirus following last week's Rose Garden event despite wearing a mask at the gathering." Posted by Breitbart on Sunday, October 4, 2020, end quote. Breitbart attributed its claim to this tweet by journalist Heather Childers, a former Fox News host, quote, "Thom Tillis wore a mask at the event in the Rose Garden. He has tested positive." Heather Childers, at Heather Childers, October 3, 2020, end quote. Childers' tweet was technically correct in that Senator Tillis was wearing a mask when seated in the Rose Garden, but Childers and Breitbart overlooked widely published images of Tillis at the event without a mask on his face. The New York Times, in an article titled "Inside the White House Event Now Under COVID-19 Scrutiny," included this photo, with each person identified. Tillis is seen on the right, nor wearing a mask, standing close to Judge Barrett, who was also not wearing a mask. NewsGuard, a company that uses trained journalists to rank the reliability of websites, describes Breitbart.com as, quote, "a conservative news and commentary site that advocates for U.S. President Donald Trump's nationalist and populist policies." The site has published false and misleading claims, including about COVID-19. End quote. According to NewsGuard, the site does not maintain basic standards of accuracy and accountability. Read their full assessment here.